What is good, beautiful people of the internet? We're back at it again with another video, and today's topic, talking about hair. And we're going to talk about different hairstyles. We're going to talk about the significance of our hair, how to access different levels of intelligence, etc. So, in case you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and join this community that we're getting started because we're starting to gain some momentum, and I love to help these people. So, if you got any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section. And let's go ahead and get right into this video. So, hair actually allows you to access different levels of intelligence. And this is something that a lot of people aren't really aware of. So, hair might just be a lot of the time seen as something that gets more in the way than something that's actually beneficial to us. Because for some strange reason in this society, people put a lot of emphasis on hairstyles. So specifically, I'll talk about men for a second. You see a lot of men, especially in my culture, a lot of the time we'll have really low haircuts, and we've always got to have our hair aligned, and we got to have a straight hairline. And a lot of guys want to make sure that they always keep their hair tamed. But really, that's not what it's supposed to be about. Your hair and you as an individual, you're not supposed to necessarily be tamed. You're supposed to be wild and free. That's what nature is. You go out in nature, do you see these animals controlling each other? No. You're supposed to have your own will, and you're supposed to do what makes you feel fulfilled and happy and make you feel like you're serving your purpose here. And that's what is messed up about what's going on in our society. We have all of these different standards and setups for what is acceptable. We might call them social norms. And a lot of the time, they're actually going against our own nature. So if we can consider the fact that this is one of our lowest versions of ourselves, and our higher intelligence is our unconscious awareness and our higher self, if we have something that is naturally occurring that our body is doing for us, we've got to be intelligent enough to recognize that it's probably something that we need. So our body is naturally doing certain things because it knows that it's necessary, even if our conscious mind doesn't know that it's necessary. So hair being one of those examples. Our hair naturally grows from our body, obviously, because our body needs it for something. So our hair is actually very intelligent. So let me give you some examples. Our hair can really be utilized as antennas in order to access different levels of intelligence. So, believe it or not, hair holds information. Hair stores information, and it senses frequencies and vibrations very easily. So, whenever you walk into the room, right, you ever hear somebody say something like the hair stood up on the back of their neck when a certain scenario happened? The hairs on your neck and anywhere else on your body, the hair has the intelligence to lay down, stand up, and give you senses, or it senses things, and it gives you signs of what it's picking up on. So, you ever been able to feel when something's vibrating really strongly, maybe like the bass from a really loud song or something? It'll literally vibrate the hairs on your skin. This is something that you can actually use to your advantage when it comes to survival instincts. So, say for example, if you're out in nature and you're about to come across a situation that isn't so pleasant to your survival or you being able to thrive, your hair is going to notify you first, as well as a lot of other organs and senses. So you're gonna get a gut feeling. Your hairs are gonna start standing up differently. They'll probably start moving in a certain way, what have you. Okay. Also, when you're out in nature, if you hike a lot, if you spend a lot of time in nature, like somebody like me, you will actually know that whenever your hair is being out and about, like whenever you're being exposed, your hair is going to protect you when you're out, say, like climbing through bushes, for example. The hair will repel a lot of the pointy plants that might poke at you. Like it's pretty easy to get some kind of poke because the plants have their own defense mechanisms too. Your hair can be your form of defense. So it's kind of like a shield, and it can be very thick. So a lot of the time, when you don't cut your hair at all, it'll get thicker and thicker. Reason being, because it, one, will protect you a lot more when it comes to not only the physical protection, but for you to be able to sense things better. People who spend a lot of time out in nature, or beings who do, for example, like an ape has a lot of hair. They grow a lot of hair. Okay, you would never see an ape unintelligent enough to shave all their hair off. But continuing on, we can actually talk about why shaving your hair could be a good idea. Because depending on what level you're at or what phase you're at in your spiritual well-being, cutting your hair actually could help you. Okay. Just a small tangent real quick. I really don't like how in our society we look at women having hair as if it's something to be ashamed of, or is unladylike, or is unattractive, because it's perfectly natural and there's nothing sexier than nature. So I don't really understand why things are the way that they are. But personally, if a woman wants to embrace her own natural self, I think she should have that right without it being frowned upon. But that's another subject for another time. So continuing on. So shaving your hair, when it comes to not only your head but on the rest of your body, shaving your hair can actually be a good idea at certain times, because like I told you, hair stores information. So say you're at a time in your life where you're not on the best vibration and you're feeling kind of okay. Let's start with the head. You can shave your hair, okay? You can alter your avatar and the way that you look in order to access different forms of intelligence, because like I said, it's like antennas. And I don't know how young or old you might be, but if you've ever had one of those old type of televisions and you adjust the antennas, that the ones that receive the signals, depending on how you adjust those antennas, you can receive different frequencies, or the radio waves are received on different levels. So the picture might be a little more clear, the sound might be a little more clear, or what have you. It could even get worse if you adjust it in the quote unquote wrong directions. But that's the same concept with our hair. So say if I was in a really bad vibration for, say, the past year of my life, okay, that might be a good time for me to shave all my hair off. Okay, I know a lot of women who do it. They shave their entire head. And what it does, it triggers this ego death, because all of a sudden you don't have anything to hide behind. You see me, I changed my hair pretty recently. You look at my other videos, it's pretty obvious. So I changed my hair in order to put myself on a different frequency, because I'm at a different point in my life. I've been doing things a lot differently lately. So I could say that I had a form of a death and I had the rebirth. So now this rebirth is about a different phase of my life where I want to be able to present myself in a different way and access different forms of my intelligence, or different levels, different degrees, however you want to put it. So shaving your head can actually be a very good way in getting yourself more aware of yourself, because whenever a woman shaves her head or a man shaves their head, all of a sudden there's no more veil. I don't know if you saw before, but my hair was in my face and it was hanging on my around my forehead and kind of in front of my eyes. And I didn't really like the fact that my hair was so long to where it was long enough for me to pull it all the way back and like put it in a ponytail, but I didn't really like doing that. Now, I'll probably get that hairstyle again at some point in my life, but this isn't just about me. We're talking about us in general as people. So when we shave our heads, that is the time for us to have that ego death. We'll start accessing different levels of intelligence because we have a different perspective on ourselves. So now when we look in the mirror, we see a different someone. You get what I'm saying? So you can shave it. You don't have to, though. But it could be as simple as, if you want to be on a different wavelength, just change your hairstyle. So obviously the only consistent thing in life is the fact that things change. The only thing that never changes is the fact that things are going to keep changing. So considering that, you need to make sure you're changing too. Even people who have locks, okay, people who have locks, you can keep your locks. I mean, they're beautiful. I'm certain they are. And just make sure that if you're doing that, you still adjust them sometimes. So maybe retwist a few of them, or sometimes have it half up, half down. Sometimes pull it all back. Sometimes let them all hang. Let them hang freely. You know, you still have to adjust and adapt and present yourself in different ways in order for your different egos that you form over your lifetime to continue to evolve, just like every other part of you will. Facial hair. Okay, a man's facial hair can be used for a lot of different things too. A man or a woman's, because women grow hair on their faces too. Of course they do. We're really the same beings. So if you're growing hair on your face, you can use this as a way of protecting yourself too. It's naturally going to protect you. For example, eyebrows are going to protect you. Your eyelashes are going to protect you seriously when you're out in nature, because there's things that fly all in the air all the time. All different forms of debris, and say you might walk through a spider web. I know countless times I've walked between trees and I didn't know there was a spider web there, and I walk right into it, my eyelashes catch it, and then suddenly I'm like, whew, man, if that would have got in my eyeball, I don't know what I would do. Your hair is here to protect you, all right? So considering that facial hair, okay, you see mine still growing in. I still got a little bit more to go, but I almost got the full chin strap. I'm working on it. So once we get to the facial hair, this could actually be another form of us increasing our intelligence also. Because I don't know if you're aware, but our jaw lines and our facial structure and stuff is going to continue to evolve as we get older too. Of course, everybody's bone structure continues to evolve, but as a man specifically, everything that goes from here down to our Adam's apple and our throat and our voice, all of these things they have to do with the same chakra. So if we're talking about our throat chakra, we can actually use this. For example, if for some strange reason I have an imbalance in my throat chakra, if I start growing my facial hair out more, it's going to give me a different kind of a confidence and a different awareness of myself. And it might be easier for me to start articulating and presenting myself as a man. Because I know me personally, the more hair that I grow on my face, the more of a man I feel like. Not necessarily, it's not really a good way of putting it, but I feel like it's more easy to embrace my masculinity. There's a better way of putting it. So considering that if I need to be more feminine, it might make sense for me to shave my facial hair off because, of course, we all need a balance of masculine and feminine energy. So if for whatever reason I need more femininity, that would be a good reason for me to shave my hair off. Or if I need to feel more youthful, I could shave my hair off, whether it be any forms of hair. Because when I say that it triggers a kind of an ego death, anytime that there's a death, there's something new being born. And if it's being born, that means obviously it's newly evolved. So it's going to be youthful. It's going to be new. Okay, just like a baby. Okay, as soon as a baby comes in here, their soul might be old, very, very old. But because the vessel that it's in, or they are in, their new level of intelligence is going to be born again. It's going to be new, and it's going to be a new perspective that they never had before in this lifetime. All right. So that's just giving a few different things. Now, I want to make sure you guys know how to make sure your hair is actually in a good condition. But a side note, real quick, if you just search on the internet and type in something like ancient Egyptian hairstyles, you'll know very quickly, you'll recognize that they always did art with their hair. So they twisted it up, they would braid it, they would make sure that a lot of their coils of their hair or the curls, the strands of their hair were always together, okay? Because there's power in numbers. So that's a whole nother subject I could go into deeper about it. But continuing on, I just want to make sure you know how to maintain your hair properly in order to get the most out of it. So one, don't wash your hair too often. A lot of people do this for some strange reason. They think it's a good idea to always wash their hair. But your hair is producing its own oils and it's doing its own thing when it comes to its intelligence. It's doing all this stuff every day. It stands up, lays down, and it waves like the wind does. It moves and everything, just like everything else that's living, just like a plant. So considering your plant, right? Are you going to repot your soil frequently? Or are you going to let that plant grow, water it, and then just let it do what it does? Maybe give it some plant food, but you're not going to interfere too much with your crops whenever you're growing crops. You do your role and then you let nature take over the rest. Same thing needs to be done with your hair. If you start putting, especially considering the fact that a lot of us don't have access to really high quality water anyways, if you're constantly putting that kind of water on your face or on your hair, anywhere on your hair, whether it be this hair, or anywhere else on your body, if you're putting that on your hair, don't you know that you're stripping away a lot of the natural benefits that your hair would have naturally been able to provide for itself? It's like washing it away, and it's not doing yourself more good than bad. So maybe just know how to leave it alone. Know when you're doing too much, but that's just about awareness of self. Know thyself. So you gotta recognize if your hair is filthy. Obviously, you need to wash your hair. But if you know you just washed your hair 3 or 4 days ago, don't wash it again. And you haven't even done much. If you don't even sweat much or anything like that, why would you continue to remove all of the nutrients that your hair is trying to provide for itself, that your scalp is trying to provide for itself, that your skin is providing for itself? You have to know when to let nature take its course. Leave it alone. Okay? So that's just a quick video. I could go a lot deeper into this, but I just wanted to let you guys know. I know it's been a while since I dropped the video. Not that long, maybe just about a week. But I've been doing a lot of reading lately. And I probably bought a couple $100 worth of books. So I've been super duper busy. So I definitely got a video coming. A lot of videos about the stuff that I've been reading lately, but also a video because I got a request a while ago specifically asking for any book suggestions. So I'm also going to drop a video giving some book suggestions. So until next time, you all, have a great one.